Buddy, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to do a pretty quick video or a little bit longer video talking about the Snyder Cut and also about Zachary Levi's comments towards the Snyder Cut. I haven't been making the rounds. I haven't been really looking into a lot of things, but I saw a couple of videos out there, and I want everyone to check those out. I will link them down below and I'll link one of them down below that I felt that feels that talks about it a little bit better detail than I probably will. But about the Snyder Cut now, a lot of people are wondering if the cut does come back, is Zach gonna come back? And I'm gonna give you my personal opinion about it. I truly think that he is gonna probably walk away from this. I think that he did what he wanted. He did what creatively he wanted to do. Now people are wondering if he should give us his 5 part arc. He really can't because that means he has to completely redo Justice League because it was from what we know, these movies are supposed to be Man of Steel, BVS, Dawn of Justice, then the first Justice League when they're supposed to when they're supposed to bring back Superman and they were supposed to lose, and then Justice League 2 was supposed to be them the whole nightmare sequence, and then literally was supposed to expand on that sequence, and Barry's supposed to go back in time and prevent all of this from happening. And then number 3 was supposed to be them going to Apocalypse and defeating Darkseid at his throne, and them showcasing that they're the grand team of the universe. So everybody in the universe is gonna know about Superman, the Last Son of Krypton, understand about the Dark Knight Batman, understand Aquaman, Wonder Woman, the Themyscirian princess, the half god, the daughter of Zeus, the Flash, the fastest man alive, and Cyborg, and stuff like that. We're supposed to know about them. Now, now, but that got completely destroyed because they wanted it all in one movie. So what Zach proposed was he put the first 2 movies in that arc, and then he took the what happened in the third and put that in that arc also. So that's why we got the resurrection of Superman. We got them losing and Flash running back, trying to outrun the explosion and breaking the time barrier and going back in time to the point where before the explosion, so he can tell Cyborg to get Superman to help him because Cyborg was the one that actually initiated the destruction, and that's why he was screaming out Barry. So that's what we got from some of the bits and pieces that we can at least put together. That literally Cyborg was the one that tried to separate the mother boxes, but he did it wrong because he needed that extra second to actually pull them apart so they don't explode. But he thought he was strong enough to do it, but he wasn't, and because of that, it basically created a destructional effect that actually basically destroyed the planet. It destroyed the whole planet, and Barry saw this and was like, "Oh my god!" And he ran. He tried to outrun the explosion, and because of him, he was so fast. He was trying to push himself harder and harder and harder. He basically broke the time barrier and was running along the Speed Force. Now, how Zach was going to propose the Speed Force, who knows? But it probably would have been mind blowing. It would have been phenomenal. And then Barry would have ran back in time to the point before the explosion, and then um, got Cyborg to call Superman. That's why Superman would have shown up and helped him. So that it'd have been enough for them to be able to break the mother boxes and not cause the destruction of the planet Earth. Then we would have saw the death of Steppenwolf, and then saw Darkseid at the end of the day through the boom tube that he would have killed Steppenwolf with an Omega beam, and he would have saw Superman and said Kryptonian, which would have made everybody realize that this is the guy that Steppenwolf listens to. So they would have saw the much bigger picture, and it would have given Superman a new renew you to know, okay, this is not about Steppenwolf, it's about this guy. So that's how I feel that Zach did all of this, and then they could have moved forward, or they could have took certain aspects of the movie and they could have moved forward with what they wanted to do. That's how I felt they should have done it. Let Zach do the movie. let it come out, let it be out there for public consumption, and if people took the criticism and used it to actually change certain things and maneuver the certain characters in whatever position they want, and we would have the death of Batman. Batman would have died, um, saving Lois, and we would have, and then that would have been part two. But who knows? We got to see the cut. That's the whole point of it. We got to see the cut to see where does the death of Batman fall in all of this. So, but I don't know. I personally don't know. But I think that once this is over, I think that Zach is going to move on because he has a lot of other ideas that he wants to do, and he's doing Army of the Dead, and we know that he's still in this. He wants this cut out there. He wants people to watch this movie because yes, a lot of directors they don't make movies for other people to enjoy. They make the movie that they want to do because they know that they will enjoy it. And I have a huge understanding that that's what Zach makes these movies for. He thinks this is cool, so he thinks that maybe other people think it's cool. But that's the point of it. Directors do not make movies to appease everybody. It's impossible. It's massively impossible. He makes it for geeks, and he makes it for geeks because he's a geek. You gotta see that. Like Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg makes family-friendly movies because he has a very wholesome background. He's a Jewish individual. He lived through the World War II. He was fortunately he wasn't during the Auschwitz, but the thing is that Steven Spielberg makes those movies because that's how he sees families. That's how he sees he sees with wonder in the eyes of a child. That's why his movies are so mesmerizing. Also, he does take aspects from World War II because that was one of the biggest points of the 20th century. That was one of the biggest things that happened in the 20th century was World War II, and it was history changing. So he does take aspects from that. So does George Lucas. That's why the whole position of the empire is supposed to be like uh, um, the Nazi army. So when these directors make their movies, they make their movies that they feel that they will enjoy, so hopefully other people will enjoy. They don't make the movies to have it where everybody's going to enjoy. Hence why I'm not saying that that's why Marvel is Marvel. What I'm saying is that's why Kevin Feige is, from people's perspective, a successful producer. When Because he goes in there and he makes movies that everybody is going to enjoy. If you look at the transition from how they did phase 1 to phase 3, the characters completely changed their attitudes. The whole movie feels like a joke fest. Everything doesn't feel unique. It doesn't feel different. It doesn't feel like it's something that this director did. Tiki Watiki, when he did Thor Ragnarok, it felt like a joke fest. It didn't feel Thor Ragnarok should be more somber. It should be epic. That's the way it should have been. And I would have felt that um like a Kenneth Branagh would do it because he would do it exactly how it would be done in the books. He would keep some of the hilarity in there because this guy does Shakespearean plays. He does drama pieces. He does comedy. He does everything in Britain. He's very well known over there. And I know that I know other people are going to love Thor Ragnarok, but there's a reasoning why Kenneth Branagh is where he's at. He's a very, very good director, and he's a great great actor director. He works with actors to make them get what he wants because he's also an actor. He plays in those movies, and he gets the best out of his actors because he gets them in, he gets their strengths and puts it on the screen, and he makes sure that their weaknesses are never apparent. And that's a mark of a phenomenal director. Same goes for Steven Spielberg. Same goes for Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola. All the directors that we know. A great director makes the strengths of the actors apparent on the screen, but he makes their weaknesses so disappearing that you can't see it very well. And that's the mark of also a great actor too, that they can work well with the director. Leonardo DiCaprio can work very, very well with Christopher Nolan because they know each other very, very well. So that's all the point I wanted to make on this. Zach is a very good director. He's a very good director, and he's an actor director. He knows what he had to get actors to give him what he wants because he works so well with them, and he gets so familiarized with them that they feel like they're all a big gigantic family. And that's the type of guy Zach is. He's a guy with a heart on his sleeve, And because of this situation that with Justice League and the fact that he was slowly getting pushed out, it messed with him. It broke his heart because he's like, wait a minute, I invested my whole time. You guys wanted me to do this. You guys knew that you wanted to have a much more grounded Superman and a little bit more grounded superhero world. You listened to Christopher Nolan. He did a successful trilogy, and you guys didn't back him. You guys never backed him, and that's because you had money grubbers in there that really kind of screwed his artwork. So that's the position that we're at, and that's why I personally feel that when Zach gets this cut out there, he's gonna completely enjoy it. He hopes that everybody enjoys it, and he's gonna slowly walk away from the DCEU. Right now, Patty and James Wan and even Matt Reeves, uh, Kathy Yan, Andy Musachelli, all these directors right now that they have, they're gonna continue the work that we created, because this movement is not about Zach's cut. It's not fully about Zach's cut. It's more on the fact of giving directors the right to make the movies they want to do. And this is all for public consumption. We may not all like it. That's perfectly fine. But that's the work that the director wanted. We can argue about it. We can say no, the director did it wrong. That's perfectly fine. That's the whole point of when you watch movies. You are investing in your time to see if this movie is something that you want to see. You also want to look at the trailers. If you feel the trailer was too revealing, then perhaps the movie won't be so revealing. Those are the criticisms that we need to give to WB, and they understand. Stop showing us this thing. If this was so important, this should never be on the trailer. It should never have been on the trailer. Um, there are tons and tons of things that happen. BVS, number one thing, you should have never shown us Doomsday. Aquaman, you should have never shown us him in the suit. There were a plethora of things you should that should have never been shown, because those should have been marked that in the movie. Now, that's why I personally believe that Zach will walk away from this. I think he told his movie. He wants to now concentrate on other movies. He wants to concentrate on his own future projects. He wants to get those projects out. If he does want to come back to do a DCEU movie, I will be all in it. I will be all in it. I hope that he does come back and does Superman. I would love for him to do Superman, because we don't know how he ended Justice League. We don't know how he ended Superman's story, and he wanted to tell the next chapter of it. We don't know. So I have a huge suspicion that Henry probably doesn't know this. I think that Henry doesn't know this. I think that Zach is working with WB, and they want to, and subjective reviews. I think he did a video on this. I saw a little bit of it, but I saw it yesterday, and I didn't get to pretty much comment on it. But I think he made a point about that he might be working with WB just in case, if this movie, if if the Snyder Cut makes a lot of money and it showcases that they can make a great amount of money out of this, then that will position Zach to actually get back into the DCEU. Now, I don't know what his figure was. I think he said he had the Snyder Cut has to make over $1 billion. I personally don't think so. I think if it makes a good, cool between 5 to 600 million, they add that they tack that on to the original box office, and they can see that, okay, this movie made over $1 billion if we allowed Zack Cut to come out. Or they could have just positioned it as, because without the hype, if the movie came out, they could have made a good, cool, maybe $800-900 million out of it. It still would have been a success. It still would have been a good success. They would have made their money back plus more. It just didn't. It wouldn't have cracked $1 billion. It just depends, because this movement is actually the thing that's gonna make this cut more money. But also, it's the time afterwards and all these other movies coming out that we have to see what's going on. Now, The Flash is pushed its date. Aquaman is pushed its date till 2021. So it's released to 2021. So is The Flash. So we don't honestly know what they're gonna do. And they can do a lot of things. They can make it where the Zach can come back and he can continue doing the movies. But I don't know if he wants to. I think that he probably does want to, but I think that he wants to keep himself out of the scrutiny of a lot of fans and media that's going to completely that's going to completely try to tank the movies so they can position other movies to be in their place, or they can try to change the narrative. But I think that if WB does the right thing, protect its directors, because by protecting Todd Phillips and telling these journalists that, hey, don't go see the movie. If don't go, we're not inviting you to see this movie if you're just going to come here and start tanking the movie. We don't want that. And by them protecting Todd Phillips' movie, look at what happened. It made over $1 billion, and that's without China. That is a massive success. That is a massive success. This movie made more money than Endgame because of the budget. The budget was a joke, and it made over $1 billion. And that's because they protected the movie. They protected the movie, and they were assured of it. So if they start doing that for other directors' work, then you're going to see a bigger level of success. Bigger levels of success, because by allowing the journalists to actually destroy movies, guess what happens? That means that that from a audience perspective, we're seeing it more as, okay, the movie must suck then, because if these critics are coming out saying this movie, sucks, this sucks, this sucks, oh well, this is okay, but this if they're allowing this to happen, they're not confident in the movie. And you don't want that. You want people to go watch this movie. You want them to go watch this movie. I'm gonna leave it there about that. I want you guys to really think about that and see, what do you think that WB should be doing? Should they be protecting their directors and Zack should be coming back, or what? Leave it down below, please. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is Zachary Levi's comments. Now, I want a lot of people to understand that this was done sometime last year. This was done probably around, I mean, August to October of last year. This is when the Snyder movement was getting more steam, and we had a couple of grand hits. And they went to Zachary. Somebody went to Zachary and asked him, "Hey, what about this Snyder cut, and does it exist?" Now, he said, I don't know what he said, but I don't want people to twist his words. But the main thing is, I'm sorry, excuse me. The main thing is, how would he know? He was not on the set. He wasn't on the set. And also, you got to realize something. Zack never accounted for Shazam to be anywhere in the Justice League. He didn't count him in there. Everyone's got to remember something. Zack built this whole universe since 2013. He started filming. He started pre-production of the no. He started filming, no pre-production of Justice League in April of 2016. So again, how in the world are you gonna say that Zachary Levi would know anything about the Snyder Cut? How? He wouldn't know jack squat, because he was not on the set. He wasn't privy to anything that was going on with Zack Snyder's movie. And also, you gotta realize one thing. If he was meant to be in the movie, he would definitely know something, because they would have to have him on the set, plus Astro Angel. I guarantee you, Astro Angel would be sitting there going, I don't know nothing about this cut. I know nothing about it. And the same goes for Michael. I'm not Mike. Jesse Eisenberg. They asked him, and he answered it honestly. He's like, he doesn't know anything about the cut. He was on the set, but he just did like a couple of days of filming. So how would he truly know about a cut? He did his filming and disappeared. And also, he never saw the movie, so he doesn't know. How would he know anything? He wasn't there to get privy to anything. I think a lot of people are trying to add drama to something that doesn't make sense. And I said again, Zachary Levi wouldn't know anything because he wasn't on the set, and he wasn't privy to all the knowledge of what was going on. He was getting himself in shape to play Shazam. He's concentrating on his movie. So is Asher Angel. So is all those guys. So how would they know? And also, the filming for Shazam started well into production of Justice League. So again, how would he know? So I think a lot of fans, I think a lot of us here should just calm down a little bit. I wouldn't jump on the bandwagon of hating Zachary Levi. I wouldn't jump on the bandwagon of anything right now. I would just say, hey, you know what? How would he know? Because he wasn't there on the set. He didn't get any privy to anything that Zack Snyder was doing. And Zachary Levi was concentrating on his own movie. He was concentrating on he was in talks with Chris Sandberg. And Chris Sandberg probably would know, but he'll probably feign ignorance and go, I don't know nothing about it, which is also his right to say he really probably doesn't know anything about it. He only knows up to what was going on for BVS. That's it. And his movie's supposed to take place after BVS. That's why they're talking about the death of Superman and all this other stuff. But they added in the last minute to put in Superman because of Justice League. Because they wanted to show that he did come back. So again, it's one of those things of a lot of things got to add up. To me, it has to truly add up. And I'm not trying to be a a, a I'm not trying to be a fantard about it. I'm not trying to say, well, he's wrong or this wrong, and I'm trying to not bring out any misinformation. I'm just saying, from my understanding, Chris Sandberg wouldn't probably know anything about the Snyder Cut because he was concentrating on his own movie, on his own writing and the design and everything he wanted to do in the movie. So talking to Zachary Levi about the Snyder Cut is like basically talking to the donut man on the Shazam set about the Snyder Cut. He wouldn't know anything either. So how would Zachary Levi know? He wasn't privy to anything. He could say, "Oh, he talked to Zack Snyder." Okay, he probably did, but that again, that wouldn't mean anything either. It wouldn't mean anything. Now, the only people that we could talk to us about was Baby Patty, James Wan, of course the cast. And if you ask me, like, why would Patty Jenkins know? Because Zachary was the producer of Wonder Woman, and she talked to him about the outline of what he wanted to do. That's the only way. Because how would she know what to do with that version with Gal's Wonder Woman if she didn't talk to Zach? Same goes for James Wan. How would he know? How would he know? And Jason Momoa even said after this, the beginning of Aquaman takes place after Zack's cut of his Justice League. He threw that out there to say, hey, no, this is supposed to take place right after Zack's cut of Justice League. They defeated Steppenwolf. He went to go back to his dad and just continue his own life. But now he got pulled into this whole aquatic world, and he has to become the king of this aquatic kingdom. Which makes sense. That's something that you see out of a comic book. The Justice League just beat the major villain. Now he has to go back to his regular life, and he decides, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go see my dad. And he gets pulled in this whole thing with Atlantis. Sounds like something out of a comic book to me. So I want you guys to really just calm down. This is something that's been taking place. This was talked about back in mid last year. So how in the heck would this has all been misconstrued? I guarantee you, if you talk to Zachary Levi now, he'd be like, yeah, I want to see that cut. That'd be cool. And laugh about it. Be like, heck yeah, this is cool. I want to see it. He'd be all over it. So would the cast of the whole Shazam cast. They'd be like, heck yeah, I want to see it too. Because I have a feeling that Chris Sandberg probably mentioned the reason why he did a lot of this is because he has a lot of respect for Zack's BVS and Man of Steel. And the actors and actresses all know that. They're like, yeah, it was a good movie. So, let's just be civil about it. Let's calm down. There's not a big hubbub about it. It's not perpetuating that it doesn't exist. WB knows. WB knows that there's a big audience for it, and the audience is getting bigger. The whole situation that happened down at a soccer game with the hashtag release a Snyder Cut that was shown at a soccer event, that's huge. That's a huge thing. That's a sporting event. That's a sporting event. If it was at the Super Bowl, oh my Lord, it will, that's it. It will break the internet. If someone's able to get hashtag release the Snyder Cut as on a Titatron during a Super Bowl, That would break the internet. It will break the internet. I think even Zach will be like, man, someone was able to do this. That is huge, huge. Super Bowl is coming close, and if hashtag release Snyder Cut is at a Super Bowl event, it's on. People are gonna wonder what the heck is going on, and it's gonna be trending on Twitter. It's gonna break the internet, and that's gonna be much more. That's new progress. New progress. We getting people to want to know about this hashtag, to get educated on that. Hey, this cut does exist. Give it a chance. Now, my position: do not put it in the movie theaters. Do not put it in the movie theaters. You're not gonna make a lot of money off of it. If you really want to see it, people want to see this cut, tell them it's going to go on HBO Max or the streaming service. Because them getting onto HBO Max to look at all this new content, them going to streaming service to see all this new content, that's money. And a subscription. That's a subscription. And also HBO Max has other programming. The DC streaming service has comic books and such on there. They got to find a way to make sure that they can lock people in. Taking them to the movie theater, they'll spend close to between $20 to $150 because the family probably wants to go see this. But the thing is, that's just a one job thing. Yeah, you're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff. But if they can lock them in to want to go to the streaming service and stay on the streaming service for a whole year, that's more eyes. That's more eyes on new content. That's my position on it. The theater section, it's gonna be harder because they have to make a lot of money to justify them making the market, to justify the fact that they're doing all of this. And a lot of movie theaters are probably not gonna say no. I'm not gonna have this thing out. No. Some will say no. Some will say heck yeah, bring it in here. I'll free up 4 theaters for it. We can make this thing sell. So it really depends. It really depends. My personal opinion: put on a streaming service. Get them on the HBO Max. Get them on other things. And if it makes a great amount of, if it gets a lot of views and they can make a lot of money off of it, guess what? Bring it out on Blu-ray and DVD and 4K, and watch the money start flowing in. That's $20 to $40. It probably will break a record, because people want to see this. They want to see it, but they don't want to drag themselves down to a movie theater to go watch it and to sit down for 3 hours. Some people will sit down in their house for 3 hours to watch it instead. They can go, pause it, go bathroom break, eat break, or whatever. Bring some snacks. They have pop their own popcorn. They say this is a lot of money. But that's me. I'm not trying to say not to bring on the theaters, so theaters can't make their money. But you got to look at it as a perspective. If they can justify bringing out the theaters section, and it makes, let's say, $600 million, 600 to 700 million, between 5 to 700 million dollars, I guarantee you they're gonna add that to the other Justice League cut box office, and they're gonna realize that they can make a lot of money now. But you also gonna realize the movement is what did it. So we gotta they gotta look at it from a more practical standpoint, and make sure that they can do it the right way. And I think that Zach will walk away from this. I think he'll be very, very happy. If this does come out, I think he will do a Snyder Con to sit down with the fans one more time, show his appreciation for them that fought very hard for this. He'll probably make it publicized so people can see it at on YouTube or on Vero for free, and like he did the last time. And I think that he will do it the right way, and he will probably have the whole trilogy: Man of Steel, BVS, the Ultimate Cut, and the Snyder Cut. He might do it that way, but I would say he should do it after the successes that happens with this cut, when this cut gets released and people are able to see it and just and judge it for itself. So I'm gonna leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell. I will probably have some videos out maybe towards the end of the week. There's a lot going on, and I gotta get some stuff done. But Thank you for joining me. You guys have a great one. Bye.